Jets up to the 30, the 20, 10, 5. Torrey Horton back to the end zone.
48-yard play. Guess who? Body up the middle, making another move to the outside. 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it. Nice move by Brown. He's got space. He's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown. A record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
Down so far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to pin it in a row. It does. Rowe stays up. The Suns offense 4-3 wins. Incredible effort for Rowe.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live. College football is back, baby. We just had week 1, and we're here to bring you G5 college football coverage that you love each and every week. I am Luke Probasco, and I am joined by my co-host this way, Justice. Justice, how was your Labor Day weekend?
It's been pretty good. Watching that intro, like Ashton Genty, give him 6 has a totally new meaning this week, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, give him 6 touchdowns.
No, give him 6, like give him 6 times.
I was out with the family. I guess you would call it a glamping trip. Kid has been wanting to go camping. He wants to, go go camping out in a tent next. So we're going to do that for his birthday here soon. So I did not get to watch as much as I would like to week 1, but I got as much up to date that I could. I asked some questions, reached out to beat reporters about some injuries. So we're going to have that for you coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a home game for Old Dominion, but obviously I spent a lot of time watching the Old Dominion game. The rain delay, thunder delay, whatever it was, certainly didn't help like get me back to being able to watch other games. But ODU had a watch party that I went to, and it was pretty cool. I got to meet some players' families, and they had raffles. They had a full-sized helmet autographed by Ricky Ronnie. Unfortunately, I did not win that. The guy sitting next to me won it. Kind of a bummer, but
and then you just had to look at it the rest of the time,
right? Well, they didn't give it to him till the very end, so
okay.
that was like the last prize. But no, it was a good weekend, and had fun. And I feel like I spent like the last 2 days doing nothing but getting our templates ready for today's show and graphics, and so hopefully it won't take me as long next week to get everything done. But yeah, man, it's been good. It's been fun, and college football's back. Love it. It's going to be gone before we know it. Hi to Billy. What's going on, Billy? Glad you could join us again. Always one of our loyal listeners and supporters, and we greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening in podcast form, please rate and review. We're doing good on YouTube. We're crossed the 400 follower mark. Now we're on to 500, and to the moon, man, right to the moon. And good things coming. We did an interview last week. I did an interview last week with Dylan Goffney, wide receiver from Colorado State. That dropped this morning. You and I did another interview today with the player that'll release sometime towards the end of the week. Man, just lots of stuff going on.
Lots of things to be excited for. All right. Now let's get into our week 2 previews. We've got our G5 versus P4 matchups. We've got Bowling Green at Penn State Saturday at noon Eastern. We've got Kansas State at Tulane Saturday at noon Eastern. That will be a fun one. Kansas State goes into Tulane. We'll see how that one goes over.
Yeah, that one.
You've highlighted this as a possible quote unquote upset.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is this is one of the 3 games here we wanted to highlight. Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm going to bet this week on a P4 getting or a G5 getting a win over a P4, I'm going to put my money on Tulane. I think they have the best shot to do it this week. Kansas State, not no slouch, but they breaking in Avery Johnson, doesn't have a ton of experience. They did look okay, running the ball, offensively a week ago, running the ball, passing's kind of like I think is where Kansas State will struggle. But man, Tulane looked really, really good this past week. Firing on all cylinders. Makai Hughes, Darian Mensah, Mario Williams looked outstanding. And so it's at Tulane. You got to give the nod, I think, to the Green Wave here in week 2 to kind of pull that upset and get the second G5 versus P4 win of the 2024 season.
And you got to be wondering about Kansas State a little bit, because a lot of people wonder why P4 teams go to G5, like schedule those opponents and go to those stadiums. Well, where's Tulane?
New
Louisiana.
Orleans, Louisiana,
Where is a hotbed of
recruiting?
high school talent? Louisiana. I bet you Kansas State is going down there, and they're going to get there a little early, and they might go watch some Friday night games, get some guys there in the area, probably send down some recruiters to go down maybe in multiple different areas. We have the home and home that we'll get to later, but you had Alabama go to South Florida. Why would you go to South Florida? Well, South Florida has a lot of good high school talent, so it kind of adds up there. So, we'll just kind of be curious on. I mean, I get the players play the game, but I wonder what their mental state is when they go into Louisiana and go into New Orleans. So that's just something, again, not part of the game, but also it's part of something that Kansas State's probably doing. But anyways,
Yeah, it's like you said, it's for recruiting purposes. But hopefully it'll work in Tulane's favor and they can get that W.
And then we've got Akron at Rutgers, Saturday, noon Eastern. We've got Northern Illinois at Notre Dame, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Notre Dame looked really good. Defense was solid. Northern Illinois is going to have they're going to have it cut out for them this week. Jacksonville State plays at Louisville Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
I saw Rich Rod said today that Louisville's the best team in the ACC, and at first I was like, he's crazy. But then I started thinking about it, I was like, well, he might not be too far off, right? Florida State's terrible. Clemson doesn't look good. Virginia Tech lost to Vanderbilt.
It's
and those
Miami.
Miami did look really good, but Miami hasn't been able to close the deal, so to speak, in a long time. So, I mean, he's not too crazy, like thinking Louisville might be the best team in the ACC. They look good in week 1, but we'll see how it plays out for them. But Jacksonville State's got to get better quarterback play, and they got to play much, much better defense for them to kind of repeat the success they had a year ago.
Now, a game we don't have on here, but is really intriguing to me. Charlotte at North Carolina, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. You've got North Carolina. Max Johnson broke his leg, so we're going to have
out for the year. Connor
Probably
Harrell.
going to have Connor Harrell, who's going to be running the ball a little bit more. So, probably a low-scoring game. But then Charlotte, we kind of talked about it in our Worker Bee series, where Charlotte is going to be throwing the ball a little bit more. And, that was on display this last week. We had Max Brown with 45 pass attempts. Granted, only 22 completions for 189 yards, but threw the ball a lot more. And what was it? Isaiah, trying to think of his Myers. Freshman, had a pretty solid game for them, a name to watch out for. But if North Carolina thinks that this is a game that they might be able to quote unquote play with their food while they try to figure out some stuff, I could see them getting just like if you let them hang around too long. Charlotte was not very good this last week against, was it JMU that they played?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
was not very good at all. But I can see this being like one of those. If you try to go in there sleepwalking, you might get got.
Well, those in-state games, kind of rivalry type games, you can't, you never know what to expect, right? Because the players know each other, they get up for those kinds of games, and yeah, sure, it wouldn't shock me if Charlotte upsets the Tar Heels.
It would. I'm talking myself into it, but it would shock me. It was
It'd
a
be
rough win.
surprising, but like I don't know, like I would be shocked.
And then we've got Middle Tennessee at Ole Miss Saturday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Marshall at Virginia Tech Saturday 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That could be an interesting game. Virginia Tech did not look quite so crisp in a week,
No, they
and
didn't, man.
and
Ky-
Marshall did.
yeah, Kyron Jones. I think he started cramping up towards the end of the game, and so they put Colin Schlee there at the end. I don't think there's anything too serious to worry about with drones, but man, that Virginia Tech defense did not look good at all. Like I expected that Virginia Tech defense to be, like top 12, top 15 defense, and you know Diego Pavia just kind of he shredded them with his legs, man. Like, yeah, that defense left a lot to be desired. Virginia Tech was a team that I was huge on this year to possibly win and be in that ACC championship game, but they did not look good week one. Marshall, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Marshall can do there against the Hokies. I think the Hokies are going to be little perturbed after losing to Vanderbilt, so they might take things out there on the Thundering Herd. But hey, the last time the two teams played, I'm pretty sure the Thundering Herd got the W, so they know how to beat the Hokies.
Well, need to go back to the Charlotte, North Carolina game. Got Billy Tuesday in the chat says if Charlotte wants to be serious about football, they have to move on from Poggi. So obviously Billy Tuesday likes to wear his shirts with both sleeves on. If you're not familiar with that reference, Biff iconically just likes to tear the sleeves off, and it doesn't even look
Cuts
good.
them
It's not
off,
like
yeah,
cut,
and
you know,
V-necks. He V-necks
yeah,
it too.
V-necks. So Billy Tuesday obviously likes his sleeves. Getting into our next game, Sam Houston at UCF Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern game. I'm just, I'm all aboard the Sam Houston bandwagon this year. I don't really expect him to win this game, but like, I wouldn't be surprised.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Hunter,
maybe this game could probably deserve to be up here on the screen here as a possible upset, right? Because I don't think KJ Jefferson looked all that great there in
and
week
Sam
one.
Houston's defense looked pretty good, way
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
maybe than anticipated. They looked really good, and yeah, Hunter Watson doesn't have a lot of tape out there, so might be a little bit harder for UCF to get you know all their tells and whatnot. But UCF likes to play up pace, and Sam Houston, I feel like, can do just the same. So that could be a real fun game to watch. Then we've got South Florida goes to Alabama Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. This game was very close last year. I don't know how it's going to go this year, but that'll be one that I'll tune in to see how that things are going there. Justice, what are your thoughts? Do you think South Florida can maybe pull this one out this year?
Um, it's going to be a good test for their defense, right? We'll see how much that defense has improved. I think the offense can probably keep pace, provided Byron Brown doesn't take too many shots and get hurt. But yeah, I think they can. But it's going to be on that South Florida defense to kind of step up. Alabama looked good in week one on offense, very efficient, and so we'll see what that South Florida defense can slow them down.
Then we've got Buffalo going to Missouri Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got Western Michigan at Ohio State Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Western Michigan gave quite the fight to Wisconsin, and if it weren't
They
for
did.
a botched punt return, that game might go a little bit different way. You can't say it for sure, but it definitely things shifted once that happened.
Yeah.
Then we've got App State at Clemson Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We've got that as a potential G5 over P4 quote unquote upset. We've got App State kind of putting in this running back by committee, at least week one. Caden Robinson, 8 receptions, 10 targets, over 100 yards receiving. Um,
Joey
Joey
Aguilar
Aguilar.
slinging it around again.
I mean, this is going to be a typical like if Clemson wins this game, it's just going to be like the athletes. I think it's going to be the game that's won in the trenches. How does that defensive line go up against the offensive line, and vice versa?
I mean, App State the last 2 years they played Carolina, right? And those were like high scoring back and forth games. I can kind of see that this game turning into kind of having a similar feel, and maybe App State gets the upset, man.
I don't know
Clemson's
if Clemson can keep up offensively.
Clemson's offense did not look good. Did not look good a week ago. Now they're playing, probably arguably the best team in the nation in Georgia, but the offense did not look good. In week one here, but yeah, App State's always kind of played the big boys hard. Think about back to when they were in the FCS. Went to the big house, beat Michigan. A couple years ago, they beat Texas A&M at Texas A&M. They beat Carolina a couple times. So might be Clemson's turn to lose to the boys there from Boone.
And then the other game, we've got Boise State goes to Oregon Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be watching that game closely. We talked about, the P4 going over to the G5 teams to recruit. Well, you know what? I think Boise State's going to Oregon to recruit some guys. That's what I think is going to happen. Boise State, they played fairly well against Washington last year. Washington goes to the was it the semifinals, or did they made the national
Washington made
championship game?
the Natty, yeah.
So, they can play these games. Historically, you got that game with the Statue of Liberty, and you've got the hook and ladder
Against Oklahoma, yeah, that bowl game.
So, but we'll see if Oregon. It was weird game.
Oregon didn't look great, man. But I think they were just I'm assuming they're being very vanilla on purpose.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're holding it back for this game.
Well, I think they're gonna have to do a little bit more this week. Boise State's gonna want to continue that Ashton Jeanty for Heisman campaign, right? This is like their biggest game of the year in terms of national attention, and so I think they're gonna do everything in their power to get the win and to showcase Ashton Jeanty.
And then we've got Utah State at USC Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. That USC defense looked a lot better.
It did. It looked
pretty good.
It's amazing what some new coaching can do, right?
Because they really didn't change that personnel all that much.
No, but they brought over the defensive coordinator from UCLA, and then there was another defensive hire that just looks like home run hires for the defense there for Lincoln Riley and USC. Miller Moss looked pretty good. Woody Marks played well, and Utah State, Spencer Petras, he did get injured in that game. I think it was an ankle injury, and the word we heard was that if they needed him, he could have went back in. I think Bryson Barnes came in and played really, really well actually. But I think the expectation is that Spencer Petras will get that start. Kyrie Rowan, who I think we'll talk about maybe a little bit later, had a big game. Only had 3 catches, man, but he made the most of those 3 catches.
He made them count. Absolutely.
He made him count. He looked pretty good there for that Utah State team there in week 1. So I'm not expecting an upset here, but just kind of excited to see what that Utah State offense can do against that good-looking USC defense.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Come back and join us next week as we discuss what happened in week 2, as well as look forward to week 3 of the 2024 season. And as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and the happenings in the world of G5 college football. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on X, please give us a retweet, like, follow, and if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you all for your support, and until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.